Well, folks, it is official. We are now having Concord shutting down after 2 weeks of it being launched. This has to be one of the biggest, if not biggest, failures of a game within this whole gaming space. You're talking about a game that has been backed by Sony spending possibly hundreds of millions of dollars, being developed for 8 freaking years, and you have Black Myth Wukong on the other hand, being developed only for 4 years and coming from a developer that no one has heard of out of China. And yet that game is breaking records. And I want to take one last look at the Steam charts before this game officially goes offline, where you're not able to play it anymore. And currently speaking, there are only 34 players playing it on Steam with a 24-hour peak of 110. And this is absolutely terrible for a live service game, especially this game trying to replicate essentially Overwatch, but being the Dollar General version of it in almost every way, shape, or form. And before we get into the article, please don't forget to subscribe, like, or dislike. It does not matter. It helps with engagement, and I much appreciate it. PlayStation 2 shut down new game Concord 2 weeks after launch. Will refund players. PlayStation will be taking it to new Firewalk developed live services game Concord offline this Friday and issuing refunds to players just 2 weeks after its August 23rd launch. Just imagine how embarrassed the executives over at Sony are at this point. But then again, this is their fault. This is their fault in greenlighting this pile of crap of a game and not actually diving into what the developing firm wanted it to be. And at the end of the day, it is the incompetency of upper management and executives that lead to the failure of a product. And who is going to be paying for this? It is going to be the average developer or employee getting let go just to cut costs. That is where we are today. And if you just scroll down from this article, this is the statement that the Concord team have made. Concord fans, we've been listening closely to your feedback since the launch of Concord on PlayStation 5 and PC, and want to thank everyone who has joined the journey aboard the North Star. Firewalk Studios game director Ryan Ellis wrote in a blog post published by PlayStation Tuesday, "Your support and the passionate community that has grown around the game has meant the world to us. However, while many qualities of the experience resonated with players, we also recognize that other aspects of the game and our initial launch didn't land the way we'd intended. Therefore, at this time, we have decided to take the game offline beginning September 6, 2024, and explore options including those that will better reach our players while we determine the best path ahead. Concord sales will cease immediately, and we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased the game for PS5 and PC." Well, let me tell you, that tax write-off for Sony is going to be extremely juicy. But what I find funny is that they say right here, they didn't land the way that they'd intended for this game. Yes, they did. You're trying to, again, have these characters that are extremely DEI that no one gives a crap about, introducing pronouns into a game, which is extremely unnecessary. Once again, trying to appease the small modern audience that we've seen countless of times barely exist throughout the overall population of this globe. And yet you landed on an absolute failure with hardly anyone playing it on Steam, let alone PlayStation. And it especially should be embarrassing that this is supposed to be a next-gen exclusive game for Sony, and yet they made this giant pile of crap. Per PlayStation, customers who purchase Concord from the PlayStation Store or PlayStation Direct will receive a refund to their original payment method, while Steam, Epic Game Store, and physical copies will be refunded through those respective digital storefronts and retailers. Once refunded, players will lose access to the game. So all the theories on how much this game has made when it comes to revenue is now being thrown out the window. This is the state of AAA gaming, and this is why we are continuing to see these giant failures across the board, even on the smaller side of the indie dev side, when it comes to, like, let's say, Dustborn. Again, those people being granted ESG grants or loans to be able to afford the development process of their games that even end up failing, having hardly anyone playing it. But this, at the end of the day, should teach all development firms or companies, especially the publishers, on what works and what doesn't. And perhaps maybe there won't be another giant mess where you're having a giant company, Sony, backing a developing firm that took 8 years to create a game that was essentially a ripoff of Overwatch that bombed across the player base. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, but as time goes on, it seems that everyone is slowly starting to get more and more incompetent, and we're slowly starting to get to the point of idiocracy becoming a reality. And with all that in mind, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye.